Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, your number one stop for all things in the world of golf. Watch and subscribe anywhere you get your favorite shows on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and more. Just search Get in the Hole. Get in the Hole is the official golf pod of the Underground Sports Philadelphia family of podcasts. Now let's get right into the action. Here's your hosts, Steve McAvoy and Ben Pirro.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
How are we doing, Kyle?
Wow, I'm back.
Yeah. Do you know why you're back?
Hope everything is all good and all well with the boy Jake, but
He got fucking sideswiped.
that's insane.
Apparently, the woman who hit him was like going nuts, because he must have told her like, "Oh, I'm a lawyer," because she was like, "Oh my god, I'm screwed." No, but apparently, he texted me. He goes, "Yo, bro, just got sideswiped on the side road. Fender's all dinged up. Can't make the show tonight." And I was like, "Oh god." So
That's
of course,
crazy.
we got to turn to like the it's like in hockey with the emergency goalie, like they have the jersey
Debo.
ready, like Mick backup, and it's always the number 69 for some reason.
Zamboni
Doesn't
driver.
matter. The last time that happened, was that guy the Zamboni driver, the guy for the Hurricanes, or was he was the equipment manager, I think.
Equipment manager. There was one that was the Zamboni driver for the Blackhawks, I want to say.
Yes, I remember that. And then like he got like a contract, like a 10-day contract or something like that.
He got
That's
like
so freaking
trading
funny.
cards made about him.
I wonder if those job openings, for some reason, like require you to have some sort of like background in hockey, like ability to like skate, or because like think about it, like you gotta have somebody on your staff or somewhere in that arena who used to play goalie. I know a friend of mine, Andrew. He did broadcasting for a USHL team, I think it was, out in Bismarck for a little bit, and then he works now for the Lightning. And he was a goalie back in college didn't play college hockey, but played in high school, played club and hockey and all that stuff. And so I would assume if for some reason Andrei Vasilevsky gets hurt and then their backup goalie, whoever that happens to be, gets hurt as well, Andrew would be getting the call to be playing in the NHL. It would be pretty freaking cool. But I wonder if these jobs at the bottom of the description for the equipment manager or Zamboni driver says must have proficiency as a goalie. I wonder
like with a Zamboni driver too, because it is technically just like ice landscaping. I wonder if any of those guys have a background in like landscaping, and then they're just like, I hate being outside. I'm gonna do this inside and do it with ice instead of grass.
I've always wondered, like, do Zamboni drivers want to call themselves Zamboni drivers? Because like the guys who mow lawns, right? They don't want to go by lawnmower. They go by landscaper.
Right.
Do you think Zamboni drivers or not Zamboni drivers? We are ice landscapers. Like no one wants to admit, oh yeah, I sit on my John Deere and mow lawns for a living.
I'm an ice capator.
What?
They're ice capators.
Yeah, I hate you. That's ridiculous. Would there ever be a golf equivalent, you think? Like
Golf equivalent to
like
a Zamboni driver?
No, like to like the emergency goalie. Like where in golf could you ever fit? Like, just think about it. Well, actually, you know what? This is a fair question. If your caddy gets hurt,
I was just gonna say,
what do you do? I mean, like, I know there are certain players who like their wives caddy for them, or like their girlfriends would caddy for them. But like, what happens if like you have a guy that's like your caddy, your guy, like Max Homa, right? You started watching Full Swing.
I haven't yet because
Oh God! All right. So
it's on the docket this weekend because
All right,
now
so
my
I take-
musical is closed.
So I take Joel Damon, for example, right? Everyone watched Full Swing. Gino Benelli, great guy. Let's say Gino gets hurt. What do you do then? Like, if you're Joel Damon, like, does your wife come and caddy for you? Is like whoever's watching you that day? Like, it sounds kind of crazy. I know. What was it? Have you ever seen The Greatest Game Ever Played? Francis Ouimet. Obviously, he hired a friend to caddy for him friend got sick. His little brother, who was like 12, shows up to caddy for the kid. And he's like, why are you here? He goes, oh, well, my brother's sick, so I'm caddying for you. So, like, I feel like there's no, like, rules where, like, if you're a club race, right, you can't play the rest of the round with a new club. You can't, like, someone from the trailer can't bring you a new driver.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, do caddies fall under the same boat? So something to think about, right?
It's a good question. Comment in the comment section on YouTube your thoughts.
Yeah, please do.
It's the fan question of the week.
Fan question of the week. Can you replace your caddy mid-round? You can't replace your ball. Well, you could replace your ball.
Imagine being a fan at an event and it's just like you just get picked out of the crowd like it's a magic show or something.
I can
you
see it
down
now,
in
like,
front.
I can see it now, like Rory McIlroy, right, walking around with his caddy. Caddy like steps on like a sprinkler head, completely just demolishes his ankle, and Rory's like, "Does anybody here know how to caddy? You, come on!" Like gathering the people.
Just join the realm.
Has anybody here caddied anywhere in their entire lives?
You have to have a minimum of 5 holes of caddying experience.
I mean, I've never professionally caddied, but I'm the guy in my group who always helps everyone with their lines on the putting green. I feel like I'm at least valuable to some degree. So if anybody on the tour needs like an emergency caddy, I mean, call me. I'm readily available. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Get in the Hole podcast. Stephen McAvoy, Kyle Bennett sitting in the seat for Jake Dipple this week. Of course, Jake got sideswiped by an old woman. And here we are, another show with Steve-O and KB behind the bench. This episode is brought to you forever and always by our friends over at PHI Apparel Co., bringing you the best styles in the game, all things Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Phillies. Baseball's happening, people. Get your hands on some Philadelphia Phillies apparel, as well as, of course, all of your other favorite teams and brands, of course. Getting the whole workhorse on there. You can get your hands on some cool Get in the Hole merch today. PHIapparel.co. Again, PHIapparel.co. That code underground. If you can't spell underground, find it somewhere. Google it for 10% off your next order. Kyle, welcome on in once again. Episode, 96 of the Get the Hole podcast?
I believe it is 96. You guys are closing in.
We're closing in. I'm now like genuinely curious. In 4 weeks, there's something happening.
Oh, is there?
I think I could very well be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in 4 weeks it's the Masters.
4 weeks from us recording
We're a week short of the Masters.
Yeah. Fuck. Well, guys, no show next week.
No, actually, no. You know what? Hold on. We are not going to have a show. I'm already saying this now. The week of March 23rd to the 26th, that's the Corrales Punta Cana Championship. The best player in the field is probably going to be some guy I've never heard of. And that's the case. We will not have a show that week, so we can guarantee ourselves to land on the Masters for episode 100.
And to make sure that's accurate, make sure you follow at Get in the Hole Pod on social media, Twitter, Instagram, at Get in the Hole Pod.
Fact. Speaking of weak fields where I never heard of anybody, I mean, it didn't happen this week, but the Honda Classic played host to its final event. Unfortunately, Honda will no longer be taking over the reins as lead sponsor. And as of right now, the number one brand to take over might be Taco Bell. So we'll see what happens there.
Ding.
Cool to see the Taco Bell open or something like that.
It better just be a giant, like, silver cup of Baja Blast.
If you win, you like dive into the pool of Baja Blast.
Yes, give me a pool of Baja
the lake,
Blast.
The pond. The pond is full of Baja Blast. That would be disgusting, though, after 4 days.
All of the drink is just Baja Blast. Anytime somebody gets a water hazard, it's actually a Baja hazard.
And you got to chug a thing of Baja Blast. Imagine walking around the course, you find the water like 8 times, you're like chugging 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. Oh, that would be horrible. Regardless, Chris Kirk takes home the big win. You know, I think this is a really fascinating week that Chris Kirk managed to win an event. First of all, has not won on tour in 5 years. Isn't necessarily the greatest golfer on the planet. He has been a top 50 golfer, top 100 golfer almost his entire career. But in the 1 week where everyone said, "Oh, the elevated event is no longer in play here," back-to-back weeks that we've seen players go all out at the Waste Management and Riviera. No one's going to play the Honda. I think the best player in the field this week was like Sungjae Im, I think, in terms of overall ranking. Chris Kirk finding himself in the mid-60s range, comes out, I think, like 8th on the odds board and manages to win. And yet, despite having a field where if you look at the leaderboard, I guarantee you if you and I played country artist or golfer, we'd probably lose for half of it. Chris Kirk manages to win, someone who hasn't won in 5 years, someone who had a 3-year lull in golf battling alcohol addiction. Like, alcoholism is a very serious thing. People have their own shit. But the fact that we managed to get a storyline out of an event that everyone complained from the get-go, oh, it's going to be an event with no names and no one relevant's going to win, and there's going to be no storylines here. Well, clearly the storylines were in abundance considering we had Chris Kirk win, and on top of that, LIVGolf teed off this week. And of course, the debate was rampant amongst everybody. What was the deal with LIV, and how was it going to take away, being that, technically speaking, in terms of players in the top 100, quote unquote, you had obviously Cameron Smith, Dustin Johnson, and the like, much more intriguing than just Sungjae Im and then Akshay Bhatia going shirtless, which we're going to get to in a little bit. But what are your takes on what did you see this week, being that we didn't have the elevated event, that should we still be concerned at all about the idea that there is kind of that separation between the elevated and the non?
I think from I'll give two aspects on this. From the aspect of this being a non-elevated event and you see somebody like Chris Kirk win, I think that's good for the sport. Yeah. You know, it gets more eyeballs on people that you may not be familiar with, and we've talked about this a ton. I think we talked about it when I tapped in last week when you guys were talking about Full Swing. Like, you want the casual fans to come in and find one or more guys that they want to get behind and be a fan of. And, like, you know, if somebody's been watching Full Swing, I can almost guarantee there were some of those fans who were watching the Netflix documentary who said, oh, I'm going to flip on the PGA Tour this weekend, and watched and saw Chris Kirk win. And it's like, that's a cool story. I'm going to follow along with him for the rest of the year just to see what he does, because this is the first, you know, champion of an event since Full Swing dropped. Mm-hmm. So a lot of those casual fans seeing a guy that is not really well known win an event is massive just for the growth of the sport. The elevated event side of things, yeah, it sucks that you don't have, you know, a loaded field, and, you know, it takes away from the competition level if you want to view it from that aspect. But I think it also gives guys the opportunity, like a Chris Kirk and guys that you're not familiar with, a chance to go out and win an event, or, you know, be in the mix to win an event that they normally wouldn't have an opportunity to win.
I absolutely agree. I think it's fascinating because, yeah, at the same time, like, the argument could easily be made of when you aren't seeing the best players in the world play, like, does the quality of game go down? Not really. I mean, golf is golf. It's a difficult sport to begin with, and you're always going to have that competitive level. I mean, I'm watching the event this week. Chris Kirk, it was what it was between Chris Kirk. Let me actually pull up the final standings here. But, like, the leaderboard the entire week was pretty close the entire time. There was no one who was definitively better or worse than anybody the entire week. Chris Kirk beat Eric Cole in a playoff. Now, Eric Cole, another fascinating story, is like a 32-year-old rookie on the PGA Tour that no one's ever heard of. Finally get to see someone like him come out. Tyler Duncan, another name that no one really expected to hear much of this year, finishes right behind him at 12 under. Ryan Gerard, who was like a Monday qualifier and someone who barely made the Korn Ferry Tour as of 2 years ago, coming in fourth. Last year's winner, Sepp Straka, tied with Shane Lowry. Of course, two of the names that you know. Justin Suh one day, I think he went like 6 under on day 2, took the lead. Justin Suh was the number 1 Korn Ferry Tour player in the world last year, and a graduate of USC. He's only 23 years old. So, like, there were plenty of names that the more intrigued fan would know. But regardless, you were still getting some really good golf throughout the entire week. And when you have guys at a course that traditionally produces 10 under, 11 under scores to win. You're getting guys at 14 under, 12 under. Like, pretty damn good competition. And honestly, it was a bit weird because from what you're used to, like the Waste Management, right? You had like 23 under par to win. When you're seeing as a casual fan and you're like, oh, 14 under, I mean, either the players aren't playing well or the golf course is really hard. They're never going to really tell you this, but it's always the latter. The golf course at PGA National is just incredibly difficult. It's on average, and I said it last week, one of the hardest golf courses, non-major courses out of any stop on the PGA Tour, with the exception of like the Memorial at Murfield Village. It's like the Players and I think 2, maybe 3 others. TPC Southwind is another one of those. Like, traditionally an incredibly tough track, and usually really good players are in the field. Last year it was Berger, Sepp Straka, Jason Day, like a lot of really good players to begin the Florida swing. But of course, when you're wedged in between a bunch of elevated events, back-to-back weeks, and now this week at Bay Hill, naturally people are going to want to take the week off and rather go and get ready for Arnold tournament. So it makes sense. At the same time, though, yes, the quality of the field's a little bit less. Fine. But you're right. You're getting players that you don't normally see that you can finally get behind. And you can see really what the future of golf is, especially with LIV. You kind of realize that, like, the fragility, I guess you could say, of the PGA Tour is kind of in flux, because when LIV started, you had a bunch of guys, former U.S. amateur winners, Korn Ferry Tour champions, guys who were #1 amateurs in the world going to LIV. And you're like, all right, like, is this now going to be the pipeline? Because of the fact that if you aren't a top 25 player in the world, you're not making a lot of money on the PGA Tour. Think about it. Like, a lot of these guys, I could pull up the career money list. You could see Tony Finau, and he's barely even cracking the top 40. Because truth be told, when you're only winning $1 million for a win, you're not making a lot of money in comparison to Dustin Johnson, who made, I don't know, $70 million in his PGA Tour career. And that was over 15 years. Granted, he won, 24 times. Not a lot of guys are winning 24 times. Not a lot of guys are winning 10 times. So some guys are going to LIV. Question was like, will people want to really join the PGA Tour? And what you saw this week was a lot of guys who are committed to the tour who want to give it their all and capitalize on these events. So I think it's totally fine that we're having this. I still have my gripes with the elevated event style, because especially now, it's a lot of stacking events. Like I had said to Jake, if you look at the schedule over the last, 7 or 8 weeks, just considering the brevity of events, right? You go all the way back to even like the Farmers Insurance Open, which wasn't an elevated event, but is one of the most popular events every single year. It was the Farmers. No one goes to play AT&T at Pebble. The Waste Management, the Genesis, break week for a lot of top players at the Honda. Playing this week at Bay Hill while all the secondary players are going to go play in Puerto Rico. Then it's the Players. Then it's the Valspar, which is not an elevated event, but again, one of the more popular spots on tour. So everyone's going to really play that. Then you have guys going for the match play, elevated event. Everyone wants to play it. No one plays at Punta Cana, which happens to fall on the same week. Anyhow, the Valero, which most guys play in lieu of the Masters. Then it's the Masters. Then it's the RBC Heritage, which everyone's playing. Then it's New Orleans, which everyone's playing. Then it's Wells Fargo, which everyone's playing. Like, you're naturally getting all these elevated events in this small time frame, which then leaves the end of the year kind of, not for lack of a better term, shitty. Like, the events aren't good. The fields aren't good because everyone's waiting for the playoffs at that point. So I still have my gripe with that, but this actually segues really well into our next point. Our good friend Jack Nicklaus, who, by the way, I had a really, really weird dream. I told my girlfriend about this this morning. Yeah, when I say me and Jack Nicklaus were in a dream together, it's a little bit sus. But I'll talk about that on the other side. Our good friend Jack Nicklaus actually teased a bit of an update to the 2024 calendar to look forward to. And so this kind of segues well. The debate that me and Jake had last week was, will elevated events fluctuate year to year? Turns out they will. Next year, Pebble and Riviera are going to be elevated events. Riviera, of course, was an elevated event, but Pebble Beach will now get its spotlight. People are it's going to basically force top players in the world to go play the event, because no one has. And the rule of you go play in Dubai, you then have to play 3 of the next 4 years at the AT&T. Basically, this year deterred everyone from going to Dubai anyways. So no one did it to totally circumvent the rule. Now they're going to be forced to play. The Waste Management is going to lose its elevated status. Players will still play there. It'll still be hella popular, but it's going to make way for another event to get more of that elevated status. They're also going to move up the Mexico swing ahead of Florida. So they're going to basically make it so that the Mexico Open, the Punta Cana Championship, and a couple of other events are going to supersede the Florida swing to give golfers almost like a 2-week vacation before getting back into things down in Florida. And then, of course, like I said, the Honda is going to get a new sponsor, probably going to get elevated status there. So pretty good things to see on the PGA Tour front. I mean, obviously, when you have, 10 of the best 15 golf tournaments all in a 3-month span, it's going to kind of ruin the quality of the game, especially down towards the back end of the year. I think this is a great move. I think it's going to be really helpful overall to the tour calendar. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's super smart to have like the kind of rotation of the elevated events. Like you said, it opens the door for, for lack of a better term, forcing guys to go and play at those events. I did want to bring this up to you and ask you your thoughts. Do you think they could add an elevated event, towards the back end of the calendar to kind of switch things up potentially? Like, obviously you're going to have the guys that are playing in the FedEx Cup and everything, but for everybody else who's not really there, do you see potential for like an elevated event to go, later on in the season?
Well, there already is with, I know the Travelers is going to be one, which happens in June. So it's going to be the week after the U.S. Open, which is kind of fascinating because it used to be for years, decades, the biggest event because it was one of the only Northeastern events ever. The U.S. Open traditionally is a Northeastern-oriented event. As of late, it's kind of deviated away from that. Obviously, last year was a country club, so it came back to the Northeast. But I think the year prior to that, what the U.S. Open was at, I'm drawing a complete blank on where they played the U.S. Open. Torrey Pines. So, yeah, so they were in California for that one. Year prior to that, of course, they were at Winged Foot. So, Northeastern event, they're going to basically play 2 straight weeks in the Northeast. This year, they're going to be in Rochester. And then the Travelers is going to be an elevated event. So, yeah, you're going to have that. But even then, like down the back stretch, right? The John Deere isn't one. The Barbasol, no one plays because everyone's going to be abroad getting ready for the Scottish Open and then the Open itself. So everyone leaves after the John Deere. The 3M is okay because it's a TPC course, so it's naturally a little bit more difficult. But again, when Tony Finau won there last year, it was him, and then the next best player in the field was Sungjae Im, who at the time was much more deeper into the 30s than he ever was. The Wyndham always gets a little bit of traction, and then of course the playoffs. So I think you could definitely get an elevated event if you change the schedule around a little bit. I think realistically next year, the John Deere should probably become an elevated event. You could also move the John Deere to later in the year after the Open if you really wanted to and push some things back. But naturally, the Wyndham's always the last event of the year. The 3M is usually right before it because it's in Minnesota, so you want to push it.
Minnesota!
God, that Joe Biden meme will never get old. The Rocket Mortgage is definitely going to become an elevated event. They want to try and raise golf awareness in Detroit, especially because they're trying to raise in African-American communities. They want to try and get a lot of golf going, so they're going to naturally want to push that there.
Send DJ there.
Oh, dude, on-course reporter for that'd be amazing. I feel like at some point they're going to have to make the RBC Canadian Open a elevated event just because it's the one Canadian event of the year. That would make sense.
Makes sense.
But late in the year after the U.S. Open, there's only 2 or 3 events you could probably do, and I don't think you could logically make the Wyndham an elevated event because it's the week before the FedEx Cup playoffs. Just don't think it's plausible. Not to mention, I mean, technically speaking, the playoffs technically are elevated events when you really kind of quantify it. Granted, the top 125 in the world, but it's still at that 20 million pot, like with all the elevated events. So I think the clear-cut candidates would be the 3M, the John Deere, the Rocket Mortgage, and maybe even the Charles Schwab Challenge is another one of those things. But the problem with that event, because you could very easily go to Colonial and make it an elevated event, but it's wedged between the PGA and the Memorial, which are always going to be major events. The Memorial is never not going to be elevated. Like I think the two events that you can never, ever, ever change is this week at Bay Hill and the Memorial. It's Arnold's tournament. It's Jack's tournament. Those are going to always be there because they're the pillars of golf. Equally, I think Tiger Woods kind of owning Riviera now, that will also always be elevated. So you're kind of drilling yourself into a hole because the traditionalist is going to be like, you have to have it for the GOATs. You have to be, and you want to have the best players in the world every year. And plus, the Memorial is a sought-after tournament. Bay Hill hasn't really been big until as of late, ever since Arnold Palmer died. But the Memorial's always been, like, aside from the Masters and the Players, the most major-oriented event you could possibly get that has that kind of feeling. So it's plausible, but it would take a little bit more restructuring than I would like for the PGA Tour to kind of figure out that scheduling.
The elevated event thing reminds me of, like, the college football playoff picking the stadiums that they want to play in.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Like it's a difficult slope because also they're trying to figure out, and this is something we discussed last week, the idea of short field, no cut, everyone makes money, basically live golf with 4 rounds, making those the elevated events. And I was like, there's like, what good is that? Because it's another example of the poor stay poor and the rich get richer kind of thing. And me and Jake both hated it. I'm sure you agree. That would never fly for me. I think if you limit it to the top 70 players in the world, what good is it? Even though the back end of that list is still guys who aren't great. Like Spawn has only 1 win in the last like 4 years. Cool, but what good is it for the 125th ranked player in the world? Like even guys who have fallen off because of injury, like Daniel Berger is no longer a top 75 player in the world. Harris English is in the back 100s because he battled a back injury the entirety of last year. Ricky Fowler is still I think he's actually in the 90s now. Like Ricky Fowler wouldn't be at this event. What good is that? He's a household name despite being a back end 100 player in the world. So that's
why the OWGR stinks.
Stinks. Yeah, all the same. But like
whenever you guys bring up the OWGR on this show, I just think of the guy from. Have you ever seen I Think You Should Leave?
I actually haven't.
Very funny, like sketch comedy on Netflix. There's a guy who is also in the new Ant-Man movie. If you've seen the trailer, it's like, "Thank you, Spider-Man." The old guy.
Oh, that guy?
That guy's in I Think You Should Leave, and he has this very funny one-liner where he's just like, they pan to him at a table, and he's just like, "Stinky."
I Think You Should Leave. Wait, who's that? Who's that with?
I'm blanking on his name.
Tim Robinson.
Yes, Tim Robinson. That's the show where like the overly used hot dog suit meme guy. We're trying to figure out who did this.
Oh, okay.
That's that show.
Also, I saw Ant-Man. I thought it sucked.
I did not think it sucked. I thought it was far better than Thor 4.
I think all the Thor movies have been terrible. Actually, that isn't true.
Ragnarok was great.
Ragnarok was great, but it was...
Ragnarok is an all-time Marvel movie.
The problem is, though, is that like the Thor movies, especially like the third one, even the fourth one, was Taika Waititi trying to get too memey.
But it worked well for 3 because that's the type of vibe that movie's supposed to be.
Yeah, it was tasteful.
4, it was too forced.
Yeah.
But it was still better. Thor 4 was still better than Thor 2.
Even Thor 1. Thor 1 and 2 was terrible.
Thor 1 was way better than Thor. Thor 2 is hot garbage.
Thor 2 is maybe the worst.
One of the worst movies I've ever watched.
Even worse than WALL-E?
WALL-E's not a bad movie. Are you crazy?
I hate WALL-E. Akshay Bhatia went shirtless, not once, but twice this week. Segues are fun, and they're also kind of weird. I cannot pull up the photo because images will not allow it, but that man, you have to see him twice. Take a shirt off. Yeah. The one nice thing about golf is you play it where it lies, and when you wind up in a swamp, you're taking your clothes off. There have been guys on the PGA Tour who have taken their pants off and they've hit a shot in their skivvies. Akshay was nice and just rolled his pants up, but changed his shirt. Didn't realize he'd be doing it twice in the same round, in which case the change of clothes that he had was going to have to do for the rest of the round. But thought it was very funny how how like the Kyle Porter has like a saying of like how golf is quote unquote a normal sport. It's very far from that in regards of this, where again, play it where it lies. And next thing you know, you wind up in a swamp. And I think he tried to take a step to get like better footing, and his foot just like sunk into the mud. It was disgusting. Like really gross stuff.
I tweeted this a while ago, and I've since dealt with even worse versions of it. It's one of my favorite new hypotheticals because everybody brings up, oh, there's nothing worse than wet socks. Wet socks is the worst feeling ever. It's definitely up there.
Bad.
And for a long time, I agreed that it was the worst. But one day I was driving to my day job. This was probably last summer. And I said, I have cracked the code on what is worse than wet socks. I would rather have wet socks 101 times out of 100 than have a stiff/sore neck.
Ooh.
Nothing is worse than when you have a stiff neck, you can't move, or you're just like, you're stiff, you're sore, like you have a stinger, pinched nerve in your neck.
All right, hold on. I realized, all right, so I restarted my gym journey the other day. I woke up this morning. You don't appreciate your elbows until you do a lethal arm workout and you try and pick your arm up and like right here, it just crushes you. And I like sleep on my arm like that. Oh, the agonizing pain when you like just kind of wake up because you have to pee and your brain says you need to take a fucking piss. And you wake up and you're like, why does my arm hurt so much? And you're like, oh my God. It's like literally like right now, my elbow's right here, and then right here, the front part of my shoulder blade. Excruciating pain. Sucks.
It's terrible.
Those actually, that might be worse than the stiff neck, honestly. I was like, I couldn't put my jacket on.
But man,
I was like, babe, can you help me put my jacket on?
Stiff neck, like, and like we can generalize it to like sore, stiff muscles anywhere.
All right, yeah, fine. I mean,
like that is like if you want to like just make it very much more generic, give me wet socks all day over that.
What? Over like the sore muscles?
Like what you just described you're dealing with, or a sore like stiff neck where like you have no mobility in your neck.
You're saying I'll take wet socks instead of that.
100%.
Oh, hold on. Okay.
Third party aggregator.
I don't. Hold on. You know what? We're doing this. Hold on. Hey. We need to do that. No. Help us all do it, please. All right. Would you rather have wet socks or sore muscles? All right. She claims she'd rather have sore muscles.
Yeah, but you didn't describe it the way that.
I don't think I have to. Wet socks is kind of nasty.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Wet socks. You eventually get to take those off.
All right. Here. Different situation. All right. Wet socks. When you're wearing like Vans, like canvas shoes, are we talking like the ones that are like the that are like ankle high? No. Well, all right, equally. What would be worse though? Wet socks with like the canvas like slip-ons, the high like Converse like high top shoes, because like sneakers are like meant to get wet. Like those are fine, but like canvas shoes that have like the insoles and shit, those would suck.
But here's my counter argument again. You eventually get to take those wet socks off. When you have a sore, stiff neck, sore muscles like you're dealing with, that lingers.
Icy hot though, man.
Icy hot. Days on. Yeah, brother, I used to think that way, and then when I had that neck pain and had to go to urgent care for it, that's when you realize you're getting old, number one. Two, those wet socks can come off.
Getting the whole question number two. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Wow, this is gonna be like the most interactive episode of Getting the Whole ever created. Final thing before we hit the break here. So LIVGolf teed off this past week, Mayakoba. Of course, Mayakoba is now dishing itself away from the PGA Tour calendar, which marks the end of one of our Creature Crown events, unfortunately. Sad, I know. Victor Hovland might never win another golf tournament ever again.
Tough scenes.
I know. Victor took it really hard. Apparently, he was interviewed about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna basically never win an event in my entire life now," because he's the only person to win like 3 times at that event, which is ridiculous. But anyways, LIVGolf teed off. Is there anything you noticed if you watched the broadcast that you noticed that was better, worse, could work on? I think the funny thing that I saw was Front Office Sports tweeted out the official viewership numbers. Now, you would have thought the CW partnership would have been a good thing, right?
Well, I saw the tweet that you guys put out from Awful Announcing, so LIVGolf is blacked out in my viewing area because it's not viewed in Philadelphia.
So apologies to you on that end. Aside from being blacked out in 8 of the biggest markets in America,
which is absurd,
LIVGolf accrued a 0.18 rating on the CW, had less than 300,000 viewers overall. What ranked ahead of it was World's Funniest Animals and a rerun of Masters of Illusion. However, LIV golfers can wear shorts, so it's pretty cool out.
That's good for the brand.
But equally, seeing Dustin Johnson's calves was kind of freaky.
Hey, let the calves breathe, as we always say.
But
that's tough.
Yeah, that's wow. Like, and I think the worst part is too is that like they're paying them. They're paying the CW to air this stuff.
And I think the other aspect of it, like, genuinely, if I wasn't doing like back end production of this podcast and like seeing your guys' rundowns and everything and tweets, I would have had no idea LIVGolf was on the CW to begin with.
Yeah,
there's no marketing tactic involved with it. No. So if I'm not seeing it, and with how online I am and we are as a whole, the casual fan of the sport is going to have no clue that this is on the CW. Plus, like you guys mentioned, and you guys tweeted out, good job by you picking that up, shout out to Awful Announcing, to be blacked out in 8 of the largest markets in the United States fucks you completely.
Yeah, like I'm reviewing this tweet again to just see it. The fact that you're blacked out in, and just tell me if I'm wrong here, looking at like major DMAs, right? Marketing areas. Now I work in advertising, and naturally every client I ever talked to, beer brand, I was doing work with like, I don't know, name X company, right? Because I can't say it for an NDA. They wanted to go and target the 10 biggest markets in America. They're blacked out in Philadelphia, Atlanta, San Francisco, Seattle, Detroit, and Tampa, to name a few.
And Philadelphia bounces back between 3 and 4, depending on any given month.
Atlanta is a top 10 market in the world. Mm-hmm. San Francisco is I think San Francisco and Austin are the 2 fastest growing markets in America.
They're both of those are definitely top 7.
Tampa is in the top 15. I know that for a fact. Detroit's top 10. And Seattle has been traditionally top 11, 10, kind of hovering right around the spot forever.
Mm-hmm.
So you're losing out on such a huge market share. Not to mention also the actual people who like watch golf, right? Just think about the major events that are held in these areas. In Tampa, everyone's playing golf. Everyone's watching golf.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 PGA Tour events are happening in the Tampa, Orlando area right now for the next 3 weeks. The Honda was in Tampa. You're going to Orlando for this event, and then you're going to stay for the players in Jacksonville. Like you're already in the Florida area. Seattle doesn't play host to a PGA Tour event, but traditional spot for the Korn Ferry Tour for second leg golf. Atlanta, obviously the Masters is, I don't know, 50 miles down the road. Philadelphia always has some sort of a playoff event. I know they're like the BMW is always in Delaware or like in the general area. And then Detroit, the Rocket Mortgage is one of the largest growing events on the calendar. So like right there, you're already hitting huge markets that even on an off week for the PGA Tour, quote unquote, you were severely outpaced. Not to mention too, you had coverage of the entire event on the CW. PGA Tour, you had it from 3 to 5, 3 to 6. Not good.
Not great. Not good.
Great. Not great. And also, it's funny, and this is another thing that you just mentioned. Had you not done production for the show, you wouldn't have even known that this was happening. The TGL, right? The golf league that's being started up by Rory and Tiger, and they've been signing on a bunch of guys. I got a text the other day. A friend of mine was like, "Oh, yo, this is so sick." I'm like, "I known about this since October. This was they talked about this in the players only meeting before the playoffs in August,
and it might have even been like rumored a little bit before October.
And the only reason why it showed up again was because Front Office Sports was tweeting about how they broke ground on a new arena they're going to build. So an arena specific for this event, which first of all is amazing that they're going to finance this that thoroughly. Also, just goes to show probably how much money that Rory and Tiger are putting into it anyways. But like, even casual golfers and fans, people who don't watch this show, don't know about even the TGL. Mm-hmm. That's being started by the two biggest names in golf right now over the last 30 years, and has Jon Rahm, Matt Fitzpatrick, has more major winners in a 10-year span than any live golfer on the planet combined. Like, just that alone, people don't know about it.
This means more people need to subscribe to this show.
Which equally means, though, that also, who the hell would even know the CW was the sponsor of LIV? If people don't know PGA Tour news, how could you ever expect them to want to follow a resurgent league? And we keep saying this, how never in golf history, and a perfect timing, honestly, for the show, that golf is the biggest story every single week on ESPN. It even then shows the lack of coverage that people are actually focusing in on golf. So just take that as you will. We're going to take a short break. On the other side, we're going to take the LIV Golf selection test. We're going to figure out who we're going to support or not for the rest of the season. I'm probably not going to watch allegedly, but think it'd be kind of cool to see where we lie. We're also going to discuss a little bit of fun LPGA action, a little bit of news coming in from the LPGA and the PGA Tour ranks, and of course, prop bets and beer money this week for Bay Hill, and a little bit of a wild card pick for the Puerto Rico Open. I know nothing about the event, but we're going to give you a winner right here on the Good Little Podcast. Welcome back. It's Getting the Hole. Stephen KB here on another terrific show in the world of golf. Want to give a shout out to Jake here. Got a little test run sponsorship of his own over on the Pitches and Chips. By the way, go follow them on Twitter and Instagram to get a bunch of really great content from our boy Jake Dippold. He gave me an ad read to read this week, so I'm going to try and use my most ultimate salesman voice here to try and do this. So here goes nothing. Today's episode is sponsored by Go Low Golf Supplements. Are you ever nervous on the course, especially when the dreaded foursome lets you play through? Then Go Low is the product for you. To calm your nerves and lower your score, use code PITCH10 at checkout today to get some of your own to try. Again, Go Low Golf Supplements. That's PITCH10 for 10% off your next order. How's that? Pretty good?
I think I give that a solid 6.9 golf claps.
Wow. Nice.
It was nice.
It was nice. I honestly, I'm not the greatest at ad reads, so I'm going to give myself a solid 6.5 on that one. I could have slowed down a little bit. You get WFAN in your area, right?
I get it on the app.
Okay. Sal Licata, whenever it's Christmas and Valentine's Day, always does an ad read for naturally nude pajamas. When you wear them, it'll feel like nothing at all. And the way he says it is so funny and so sensual. I will never forget it. Some guy called in, or some lady called in to the show, and she was like, "Sal, I gotta say, love the ad read. Kind of gets me feeling some kind of way when you say it." And I was like, "Oh my God, this woman just admitted that she was got a little horned up."
Well, Speaking of that, before we take this live
That's
golf,
scary.
I have a day job story for you.
Oh, my dream too. All right, you go first, and then I'll have to tell you a little bit about my Jack Nicklaus dream.
So this happened today as we record this on Tuesday. A little breaking the fourth wall for the people there. This was no earlier than 11 a.m., by the way. Lady comes up, and she's checking out. She, like, ships something, so I'm, like, ringing her up for stuff. And I was like, I just need you to sign and date this paper for me. She goes, so how old are you, 18? And in my heart of hearts, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I go, no, I'm actually 28. And she was like, well, you never know nowadays because kids have full facial hair, full body hair when they're 12. And as she's saying this in my head, I'm like, I'm not 28. I'm 29. So she continues on and she says, are you married? Do you have? I was like, no, I'm single as can be. And she goes, I was like, I'm just focusing on myself and, gotta do what's right, and I'm viewing things, 30s are the new 20s, especially in today's day and age with how life is and everything. She's like, yeah, everybody just, nobody loves anybody anymore. They just want to have sex. And I was like, okay, it's not even 11 a.m. and we're talking about how the youth of America just wants to have sex. And she goes, yeah, and if you hit it in the right spot, that's when you fall in love.
How old does this woman look?
Based on looks, mid-60s. Based
right.
on how I guess how old she was, probably mid-50s. But then proceeds to say she has 21 nieces and 21 great nieces.
Bro, what?
I was flabbergasted this morning, to say the least. So you heard it here first, folks. If you hit it right, that's how you fall in love.
I'm gonna tell my girlfriend this after she'll love to hear that one. Can we acknowledge that if she's in her 60s, she grew up in the era of sex, drugs, and rock and roll?
Oh yeah.
So what are you bitching and moaning about?
Just
the
a
youth
wild
of
time.
America wants to have sex. So do you.
Just another. I genuinely thought she was gonna slide me her address or something. I was like, how are you this hot and bothered at 10:30 in the morning?
That's actually really aggressive.
I was blown away.
That's funny though. My Jack Nicklaus dream is nothing related to that.
Thank goodness.
Right? So I'm asleep, obviously, and what so happens is I wake up, or allegedly I find myself in the field of the Masters. I'm on the first tee. I'm feeling good. I'm excited. I'm getting ready to tee off. Jack Nicklaus approaches me and he goes, hey, son, I know you were a Monday qualifier, which doesn't even exist for the Masters. But I Monday queued. I was in the same group as, I think it was Sandy Lyle, some super old guy, and an amateur. So I'm I have no reason for being here. And he gives me a sleeve of golf balls that has the little golden bear on it. And he goes, take these. I think they'll give you pretty good luck. Okay. I get on the tee. Now Stephen McAvoy, now driving. I get on the tee. Stripe show down the middle. Outdrive both of the guys. All right. Feeling pretty damn good. Cocky as can be. As if I'm there with my caddy, who was a woman. I don't know who it was. Most certainly was not my girlfriend. For all I know, could have been Margot Robbie. I'm walking up. I birdie the first hole. I'm feeling great. I'm 1 under par to start the round. We get up to the fourth hole. I hit my drive. It slices a little right, winds up in the woods. The ball is cracked. I call the rules official. Rules official comes over. He goes, hey, let's get somebody else over here. I go, can I replace the ball because it's cracked? Obviously, once the ball's cracked, it doesn't fly as well. they open the ball up, and it's like a gooey substance on the inside. It isn't like a typical golf ball. And they go, "Where'd you get this ball?" I said, "Oh, Jack Nicklaus gave it to me." And they go, "The Jack Nicklaus?" And I go, "Yeah, Jack gave it to me." They call him over. Jack goes, "I have no idea what he's talking about." I'm like, "Well, shit. Jack Nicklaus just said that I'm lying." I get disqualified from the Masters. I get escorted off the premise and thrown off the grounds. Like forcefully, like threw my golf bag into the street. Some
The
like
cartoon heaved you?
Yeah. Like a Hummer drives over the clubs. I'm like, "Oh my God, my Titleist clubs ruined." Me and Margot Robbie are sitting there, my caddy, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? Next thing you know, I'm going through like litigation with like Jay Monahan next week. The following week, it was weird. And I woke up middle as I'm giving my testimony about there's a gooey golf ball, and I'm like, "Jack Nicklaus gave me those balls." So Jack, if you're watching, I have beef with you already.
That's the title of the podcast. Steve has beef with Jack.
There's also another Jack that I have beef with, and he'll stay in a bottle at the liquor store. But anyways,
I thought you were going to talk about your former radio co-host.
No, I love that Jack. Jack Daniels though, is the man in black, is not very nice to me.
I call your former co-host Jackie Suits now.
He was covering UVM basketball. He texted me the other day. He goes, "Yo, there's this guy on UVM, man. He's fucking sick. He just dunked." I go, "Jack, he's averaging like 4 points per game in the American East." I googled the guy. I'm like, "Bro, he rides the bench. He's like Obi Toppin. He's only good for like 1 dunk per game, and then he just kind of sits out the rest of the night."
He's the team manager.
Honestly, wouldn't be surprised.
Just want to play on senior night.
No, bro. There was one guy who quit at BX. His name was Matt Belanc, and it wasn't until his junior year where he actually like got playing time. But like all he was known for his first 2 years was he would dunk in warm-ups and do like sick dunks, but he wouldn't play. And everyone was like, what's this guy gonna do? And it turned out he was an awful shooter. So everyone was like, naturally, you're not gonna play, but he dunks, which is pretty cool. Anyways, let's take a live team selector test. What do you think?
Let's do it.
You want to pull it up for us, and we'll.
I do have it here.
We'll take it on your end. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's.
So, for those of you that are unaware, LIVGolf put out a team selector on their website that will help you choose your team for the upcoming year. Of course, the Crushers and my former love affair, Bryson DeChambeau, won this past week. So who knows? Maybe my heart will still align with that of Bryson DeChambeau. We're going to find out right now. Let's start it up. I want to get you want to alternate questions, or should we do it together? What do you want to do? This will be a Steve-O and KB dual threat team.
Let's come to a joint consensus.
Okay. All right. What do you think? What motivates you more? Winning, improvement, teamwork, or fun?
I'm leaning teamwork since we're doing this together.
Okay.
But I also like winning.
I do love winning.
So we go winning?
Winning, yeah. Forget improvement. That's bullshit. For me, it's winning or fun. But I try and beat everyone on the golf course as it pertains to golf. So,
which leads to fun.
Which animal do you identify with?
Oh, this is great for our brand.
What do we think I identify with?
I'm gonna say you identify with the bear.
Yeah, this is my friend Otto, the bogey bear.
Low key, my favorite animal is the dolphin.
Really, of all animals,
love a dolphin.
You and I are pretty grizzly guys, though. I think the bear fits.
And I am a Redwoods Lacrosse Club fan, so
there you go. And you know what? As am I. So there you go.
There's justification. Which shot gets you out of your seat? The booming drive, the pin seeker, the spectacular save, or the unmakeable putt?
There's something about nailing a 90-foot putt that just makes you like when it's halfway there, you're like, is it going to happen? it's like a home run in baseball. Like you automatically get out of your seat because like you have that like feeling it's gonna go in. I don't want the putt.
It's the ethos of the show. It's getting the hole.
That's true. Get in the hole. The unmakeable putt.
How do you celebrate a winning putt? A composed wave, team high fives, a fist pump, or go wild?
I always go with like the big fist pump, and then like as I walk over and kind of like big dick it to the pin, I'll be composed and I'll do a little wave to the fans. What do you think?
I kind of lean fist pump.
Wow,
whether it's one of these or one of those like underneath like kind of like stomach jab fist pumps.
How about the tiger?
Yeah, that plays.
Yeah, I'm very much like the yes kind of fist pump.
Yeah, they always play.
They always play. It always works.
Pick your ideal golf course for everybody just listening on podcast audio. It's Mayakoba, Sentosa, Cedar Ridge, or the Grange.
So for those of you that are listening, also Mayakoba, of course, resort style on the beach. Sentosa is a little more water-esque, picturesque down in Florida. Cedar Ridge, very much like that, like in the valley kind of feeling. Very good, like foliage. And the Grange is one of those like link style courses, a lot of high fescue. Just because I'm used to it, I would say Cedar Ridge is kind of my spot. But I do honestly love a good like picturesque links course like the Grange. So I'll leave it to you, whatever you think. I'm just used to it because of the Northeast too.
So which one was that again?
Either Cedar Ridge or the Grange is my pick.
I'm going strictly based off the aesthetic of the photo and where I feel like playing would be like where I'd want to where I'd want to blue skidoo myself into right now.
Oh, my God, in my case.
Well, between the ones that you said.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the Grange.
I dig it. However, if I could just teleport myself somewhere, I believe right there, the photo from Mayakoba is the 18th. It would be amazing to make that 90-foot putt, do the little fist pump, get the ball, and then dive into the ocean.
Oh, 100%,
while you're at it. That would be
100%.
amazing. But I will take the Grange.
I was going to say, does that now make our pick Mayakoba?
Well, what do you think?
I think it does.
I think it does. All right. I'll let you pick.
I'll go Mayakoba.
You're the man behind the screen.
What color speaks to you?
Just stop. You already know the answer to this. Blue, red, green. It's green. Come on. It's literally the color of our entire show, too.
Literally.
Oh, close.
What's your golf shirt style? Classic, striped, patterned, or loud?
You're definitely a big loud guy.
I am a big loud guy.
I'm one for the classics. Striped is a little boring. I think a pattern is more my style, but I'm more of a classic, modest kind of look. However, I'm a big fan of look good, feel good, play good.
Agreed.
So
I also don't hate a pattern.
Well, like a pattern's like Bad Birdie puts out a lot of like patterns, but like I wouldn't really wear like a palm tree styled golf shirt. I'd wear like a button down shirt like that. That's like a very like Hawaiian, but for golf, I don't know. I'm very, very bland. You know, but like patterns, yeah, patterns work for me though.
Pattern, I feel like, is right in the middle of classic and loud.
Especially like the shirts where it's like a white shirt, but it has like the different like images on it.
Yeah.
If that counts as a pattern, then I'm all in a pattern.
Cool. What music gets you in the zone? Hip hop, rock, country, dance, pop, or classical? I just have to preface this. I can appreciate classical music. I don't understand how classical music can get you in the zone. I
agree. They all get me in the zone. Country keeps me calm. Actually, country's what I listen to. Country and John Mayer. It's really just like, it's John Mayer and Chris Stapleton is what I listen to when I practice. But then when I get to driver and I pull it out, it's Motley Crue's Kickstart My Heart is the first song I play. I just go ape shit with it. But like to really get me in the zone, I would say rock.
Yeah,
Or,
I can lean rock.
or like dance house music too.
I'm a hip hop rock guy.
You want to go rock?
I'll go rock. I just want to
go
rock. Shout out Lil Uzi Vert.
All right, final question. What are
What are
you
you
ordering on the
ordering
19th?
19th? Ooh, hoo.
Oh man.
For everybody listening, it's a grilled cheese sandwich, a chicken club sandwich, barbecued pulled pork sandwich, and an ice cream sandwich. My God, that pulled pork sandwich looks delectable.
That ice cream sandwich is on a bagel.
Yeah, that's kind of chaotic.
Although then again, also problematic because Greg Norman probably created this. That just looks like a bagel with cream cheese.
Yeah.
With like sprinkles on it.
It looks like some sort of like pumpkin spice nonsense that you would get at like something bougier than like a Starbucks or something.
A Paris baguette.
Yeah.
Those are all over Manhattan, and I never understand the point of them. It's like a self-serve like bougie deli. Would never get an ice cream sandwich. Grilled cheese is more so like what I make at home. Honestly, the chicken club sounds fire. I'm also really getting into chicken salad as of late, so I vibe there.
That pork is speaking to me. And it's not just saying oink.
The other thing is too, though, you gotta consider this. Golf course food. Depending on where you go. Like I go to Bethpage, right? They have the clubhouse and it's naturally a beautiful place. So like they have really good food. But like your run-of-the-mill Muni, pulled pork sandwiches are hard for me to pull off. Like sometimes they're very dry. They're doused in sauce sometimes.
And I'm also pulling this out of the book of something our good pal, our colleague, my co-host of the Outside the Box podcast, DJ Hughes, says. Granted, it's not on this list, but he always says if he goes to a new restaurant, he always has to try the chicken fingers. Because if you fuck up chicken fingers, you're not a good restaurant.
You're not wrong. What chain, total sidebar, has the best chicken fingers? Like, not like fast food, but like a restaurant.
That's a great question that I feel like we definitely need to research.
I am incredibly impartial to Chili's.
They do have good ones. I'll give you that.
The chicken crispers there are fire.
Yeah. That should be something we do for the show.
Also, their corn is just busting. I don't know what it is about Chili's corn. It's just really good.
Chili's is severely underrated. I've also seen Chili's start to do podcast ad reads, and if Chili's wants to sponsor the podcast. Because my thought process that I was getting into with the chicken tenders is if you fuck up grilled cheese, you're not a good 19th hole.
That is true. I still think chicken club sandwich is kind of the answer for me.
I'll give this one to you.
All right. Chicken club. All right. The results are in. Ew, the cliques. First of all, the worst named team on the block. Ew. What even is
I will say, I don't hate their logo.
Hold on, go up. A clique is like a really like dumb British term.
A clique was a long iron.
From the golf's early days, but there's no way this team is stuck in the past. Oh, Martin Kamer is the leader. Like this team's terrible too. Like do we give ourselves
do we live by the standard of allowing mulligans?
What do you mean?
And retake the test.
Do you want to jot it up to a breakfast ball? Bro, this team's so bad too. It's Martin Kamer, Richard Bland, Graham McDowell, and Bern Wiesberger. Of all the teams, all right, like
I think we got a mulligan this one.
You want to take it again?
I say we do it. Now that we know the answers, we can we know what to switch up.
All right. We can MacGyver this. All right, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Let's really try and specifically find our way to the four aces.
All right.
Winning has to be the answer though, because like Dustin Johnson's a cutthroat asshole. That makes sense. I feel like an eagle or a wolf fits. Like I'm trying to think Think Dustin Johnson.
I think Wolf.
I like it. I think Booming Drive fits here.
That's going to give us Bryson DeChambeau's team, no doubt.
Not opposed to that, honestly. I still lean fist bump.
Me too. Do we go with the Grange?
Yeah. The one answer we can confidently shake up.
Gotta stick with green, right?
Well, like, what if this was the whole thing? Like,
right? What if it's just simply based on the color?
Cleeks is the only green team. Well, actually, that isn't true. Stinger and Torque also count there.
Right, we gotta keep the brand color. I feel like.
All right, fine, we'll keep it. Let's go classic. Keep it simple. I think we should shake this one out. Shake this one out. Go a little hip hop. Because that's what you said earlier. And I think now we fire on either the grilled cheese or the pulled pork, like you said.
Let's go pork because it's classy.
All right.
Stinger.
I'm telling you, the green matters. All right, this one isn't as bad. This is Louis Oosthuizen, Dean Burmeister, Charles Schwartzel, and Brandon Grace. It's basically Team South Africa. So, like, not awful. But, all right, let's take it one last time and just change the color.
Third time's the charm.
I'm telling you, the color's what matters. So, same answers that we used. Winning. Wolf, stick it. Booming Drive, that's good. Fist Pump, fine, good. Grange, fine. Make it black.
I want to paint it black.
I think this will be the difference here. It's the color. It's like those freaking like Reddit quizzes where it's like there's one answer that puts you to whatever you are. It's like, oh, which Friends character are you based on your breakfast cereal? And it's like, pick your favorite or your worst. And the only one that gets you to where you are is the one when you pick your favorite. Like, oh, you're a Captain Crunch guy. You're Chandler Bing. Like,
how did I know you were going to say Captain Crunch and Chandler?
Like, come on. You like cornflakes. You're David Schwimmer. Bro. This one should basically be, oh, you like protein shakes and women hate you? You should be a crusher.
You like protein and driving the ball.
I'm telling you, it's like Booming Drive plus black equals crushers. Like, yes, this makes sense. Can this be our way of just saying that LIVGolf sucks? Because that's bad.
Oh my god, that is funny.
Oh my god! All right, back to
that'll be the poll. That's the poll of the week on Twitter. We put those three teams out there and then let everybody decide.
The answer is easy. I would have to. I'm almost forced to support Crushers, honestly, because first of all, my heart already lived with Bryson DeChambeau for a long time. But equally, like, it's actually a decent team. Like, Charles Howell won last week. They actually won the team event. It's Bryson, Paul Casey, Charles Howell, and Anirban Lahiri. I could be wrong, but is Anirban Lahiri the guy who used iron covers? Because that would be the most, like, Bryson DeChambeau teammate thing ever. Hold on. One of them uses iron covers, and I will never unsee it ever in my life. All right, it's Aaron Rye, I think, who uses the iron covers. Which, by the way, if you use iron covers, you're a bitch. Yeah, it's Aaron Rye. Aaron Rye uses 2 gloves and uses iron covers.
Not Timmy 2 gloves.
What a nerd. What a nerd. Anyway,
nerd.
We're an hour and 9 minutes in. We're gonna skip the prop bets. We're gonna go right in. The LPGA and the PGA Tour have announced the Grant Thornton Invitational. Finally, and they must have been listening to the show, a event that features both the LPGA's best and the PGA Tour's best. Already confirmed teammates Tony Finau and my wife-to-be Nelly Corda and her sister Jessica Corda and Ricky Fowler are already on the team. Assumingly, there will be, of course, more dynamic duos in the golf world. Lexi Thompson will probably be involved, Lydia Ko, as well as, of course, Brooke Henderson, another one of my woman crush Wednesdays for the golf world, woman golfer crush. What do we think? Finally, we're getting a really quality event that's actually going to count towards PGA Tour points and LPGA Tour points. Unlike where we usually have a event in December where it's like a tournament style, a match play where it doesn't count for anything. We're finally going to get an event that actually matters for both the LPGA and the PGA Tour. It's
about damn time, as LeBron James once said.
It's about damn time. You're absolutely right. I think it's a great opportunity for the sport and a great opportunity for all the female golfers because honestly, you don't really get a lot of coverage for the LPGA. And again, like we said, if the casual fan doesn't know about LIVGolf and it's been the most talked about thing on the planet, no one's going to know about the LPGA either. But the talent pool is amazing. Lydia Ko, Lexi Thompson, the Cordas, Brooke Henderson, all terrific golfers. And of course, there are so many more to talk about. But as a small sample size, you can easily get 20 of the top 15 golfers in the world, and they can go almost putt for putt, stroke for stroke against a lot of these men. Honestly, they might not be able to hit it farther than some, but I can almost guarantee you, at the end of the day, they're going to be making the same number of birdies, pars, and eagles. I can almost guarantee you that. We're going to forego the prop bets, but we still want to give our friends over at Pickup a shout out. Pickup, play the headlines, sign up with your phone at Play Pickup. Shout out to them. Great members of the show, but we're going to dip right into some beer money picks brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. Kenwood, the premier Philadelphia light lager. They sell them at the Wells Fargo Center. You can go and watch the Sixers lose, and of course the Flyers suck, and the Rangers when they jump over tomorrow. You can go and watch the Philadelphia Flyers lose by 8 against the Rangers and newly acquired Patrick Kane.
He's a scumbag human being. So
what?
He's a scumbag human being, so.
Totally fine. The Rangers have the greatest top 6 in NHL history. Top 20 pick for beer money. Who do you got at Bay Hill and the Arnold Palmer Invitational Arnie's event? Who you got?
Top 20, as I look at
As I walk through the shadow of the valley of death. Sorry. Proceed.
Great pick right there. Top 20, they're giving me plus odds at a certain blue sports book. I got to go with the man, the myth, the legend at plus 110, Max Homa.
I do love that pick. People don't know this about Bay Hill. First of all, an incredibly tough golf course, but also, as Jason Solo puts it, it is the Benjamin Button of golf courses. It's flat out hard. And outside of the last few years where younger guys have won, this is a old man's golf course, which makes perfect sense considering Arnold Palmer still holds the course record at this place. I'm going to take Jason Day for a top 20 performance this week. One of the older guys in the field, but I think can most certainly turn some heads and play really well. He's plus 125 on the odds board. Top 10 pick. Where are you going?
I also see Jason Day with some weird odds here. One of your favorite books because of your guy at plus 138. Some very strange odds there, but
King Costos.
That's available.
All hail King Costos.
I'm working on getting him on multiple shows, so
I love that man so much. I want to take Will Zalatoris. He still can't putt, but he always plays well here in his 3 years, which also is a complete contradiction from my Benjamin Button topic. But I still do think the young guys are going to come out strong. Will Zalatoris plus 220.
I have it plus 230.
Perfect. You can get him at 230, then take him. Top 5, who you got?
I didn't give my top 10.
No, you didn't?
No,
you did. You literally just did you not?
No, I was just letting you know Jason Day had further odds at Nick Costos' book of choice. But my top 10 is Colin Morikawa at plus 200.
I thought you came. All right, I'm sorry. My bad. That's on me. I'll let you then take over the reins for your pick here. Top 5.
Top 5. Let's see here. Top 5. I mean, they're giving me unbelievable odds here at plus 230 as well. I got to take the king of the realm, Rory McIlroy, at plus 230 to finish top 5. That's just like, you don't get that ever.
Not a bad play. Not a bad play at all. Yeah, no, really solid numbers for Rory there. I'm actually going to dig a little bit deeper on the board here. I'm surprised he's as far back as he is, plus 750. I want to take Matt Fitzpatrick. Has a really good track record at this golf course. Has shown over the last few weeks that he can certainly still ball at the best. He's looking forward to Augusta. I think this is going to be a really good get-right week. And again, a flat-out hard course, really good putter, really good approach game. That fits him to a T. Our gimme pick of the week. Who are you taking?
The gimme pick for your boy. Let's see here. I want to find somebody like worth a damn, but also I'm going to say actually I don't like any of those, so I'm gonna go complete opposite, and I'm gonna go with at minus 120 Harris English to miss the cut.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I dig that. I'm looking around. I have two gimmies that I'll give out that I both think are pretty solid. Top 40 finish. I will give you, and you can most certainly parlay these. Keith Mitchell at minus 125.
Sounds like a country music artist.
Does, right? He's the guy who wears the really big visors, and I really love his game. And plus 200, Danny Willett. If you parlay those together, honey, all right? What is it, full of dust? Oh my God, she's cleaning and pulling out albums that are full of dust. You parlay them together, you are at plus 500 here. So I think it's a really good play. You can get two solid picks of the top 40. People are saying Keith Mitchell did this week top 10. So something to keep an eye on. Your winning pick at Bay Hill.
My winner is going to look like this. I'm like going back and forth between two guys. You know what? Fuck it, we ball. I'm going Xander Schauffele at plus 2,400.
I feel like John doing this. No, I do. And I used to always tell John, I was like, dude, why would you do this? It's so it's a loser's mentality to do this. But it's almost like, how can you not? I wanted to just rattle off recent finishes for this player to give you an idea as to why I'm going to take him. And it just makes more sense than I think ever. He's plus 650. You can already know exactly where I'm going here.
I have him at plus 700 for longest odds.
Pretty solid. Dating back to October and European Tour events. T4, 1, 1. T8, 1, 1. T7, 3, 1.
You sound like a
5
computer.
Wins. Yeah, it sounds like a computer program, right? Because John Rahm is automatic.
You sound like you're rattling off binary code.
The man's like an Excel file. He's never wrong.
1.
It's like a phone number. 6, 3, 1, 8, 4, 7.
For this department,
2,
dial 1.
2 is unavailable. No, John Rahm. I have not seen a golfer do what John Rahm's done since November, since Tiger Woods in 2001. And by the way, when he did that in 2001, it was like he had like 12 wins. I think he had one finish outside the top 20, like one miscut. I cannot, for the foreseeable future, not constantly take John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, or Rory McIlroy to win an event. I feel like you almost have to every single week because it's like
you can get Rory and Scotty for the people at home who are just curious. There are certain books you can get Rory and Scotty at plus 1,000 to win.
Like, can we acknowledge that the odds board is literally 3 guys in the sub 10-1 range, and then everyone else is like 2,000 plus?
Mm-hmm.
Like staggering ballpark numbers. Now, like, granted, has the number fluctuated? Yeah, the number actually started out a little bit closer, which also should tell you even more. It was originally 650, 850, 1,000, 1,800, 2,000, and that's deviated plenty. Max Homa was originally plus 1,800. He's now all the way back down to 22-1. So, like, the odds books are telling you already, these 3 guys should win this event because they're the best putters, the best approach players, the longest hitters, and all of these make total sense for Bay Hill. So I am all in on John Rahm this week. I think this is another win. I think this is a start to a MVP year, to a East Lake clinching year, possibly a major, most certainly in my opinion, a major victory. And I hope it happens at Augusta. I'm thinking John Rahm plus 650. You can get him 700. Shoot for the moon. But until I say otherwise, I'm betting John Rahm and Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler in every event. I will throw the $4 down, $5 down, and I'll win the $40 every week. Totally.
When you brought up Hall of Fame, because obviously we have the Creature Crown as part of this, I was thinking for you guys, how the esteemed events we have jackets and everything. I feel like every year, like,
a pelt.
You guys should give out like the like electric green jacket or something like that to like the MVP of the season, and we just keep a living, breathing record book of every winner.
I have news for you. John Rahm right now owns it.
Well, the jacket doesn't physically exist, but that's for something later down the line.
Yeah. Final thing before we go, a little bit of a special beer money selection here. Me and KB know nothing about what is happening in Puerto Rico this weekend. I haven't looked at a thing. 3 random names for the Puerto Rico Open that you're going to pick to win. The person who has the best aggregate score or accurately predicts the winner. We did this last time with the Home Run Derby, but I think we should do it. Buys the loser a jersey of some sort.
We can figure out like what the thing would be.
Whatever it is. Jersey or like a
golf hat.
Antiquity of some sort. A hat?
You can go like a golf hat.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, you know what? Best aggregate score gets a golf hat. If you somehow predict the winner of the event, I think it should be like golf hat plus something else.
Okay.
Like $50 value.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's do a draft. Just pick our players. I will let you start because you know less than I do.
I'm going to take the shirtless wonder, Akshay Bhatia.
Shit.
Plus 2,500.
That was the first pick that was the first pick that I had. Okay, I'm going to take. Oh man, I gotta like dig here on all these names. I will take Andrew Landry as my number 1.
Where do I have him?
Oh no! Grayson Murray's in this field.
Oh no!
If Grayson Murray misses the cut, we each get an ice cream on each other.
I don't see Andrew Landry's name here for some reason.
Is he? He might have WD'd. Hold on. I don't have the odds board particularly. I'm just looking at the field list.
Gotcha.
So I could be wrong.
I don't see him.
All right. So I will take a new pick. I will take Hank Labiota as my first selection.
Okay, I see him plus 5,000.
Perfect.
My next pick will be Harry Higgs.
Of course, you got to take Harry Higgs.
He is at plus 3,500.
My next pick, I will take. Oh, is he gonna be in this field this week? I don't know. But if he is, I want him. Where is he? 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 I don't see him. Oh, this is unfortunate.
Who are you looking at?
I actually don't. I totally just like blanked out on what his name is, which is like the most embarrassing thing ever. Jeez, I'm gonna die here. I'll take Eric Van Rooyen. Well,
Plus,
known.
Longest odds I have him at is plus 2,900.
Okay.
My last pick. I'm picking him because I know his name. Taking Andrew Novak at plus 2,200.
That's Jake's guy.
There it is. Got to do it for the brand.
He has Novak for his what's it called, for his year-long fantasy.
There it is. Plus 2,200 across the board, so I'll take that.
All right, my final pick. Is Scott Piercy in the field? Or Cameron Percy?
Scott Piercy is, yes.
Piercy's in the field? All right. All right. I'm debating if I go Piercy here or not. I'm gonna go with
Cameron Percy is also in.
Is Ben Martin in the field?
Ben Martin.
I think he is. Yeah, he is. I'll take Ben Martin.
Don't
All right.
His name, but
you may have to command F that.
Yeah. Let me see.
So to recap, KB's got Akshay Bhatia, Harry Higgs, and Andrew Novak. I've got Hank Leviota, Eric Van Rooyen, the man with the best mustache in all of golf. And if we can confirm, Ben Martin right now.
He did not come up on the Command F.
Really? All right, I'm going to stick with Ben Martin in the case that he is not, in fact, in the field.
Yeah, give yourself a backup pick there.
A provisional pick?
Yeah. Just to be safe.
In the case that the provisional does not work, I will take... I'll take Scott Piercy.
Plus 2,500 I have him at for longest odds.
Yeah, I'll take Piercy in case. So Leviota, Van Rooyen, Martin, or Piercy, and then Bhatia, Higgs, and Novak. Final thoughts before we hit the road.
Shout out to everybody involved with our production of The Little Mermaid at Buena Regional High School. We absolutely crushed it. I took some of the best photos of my entire career, and it was an unbelievable 4 shows that we put on, and sold almost 900 tickets in 4 days, which is bonkos to think about. You know, this is a school that the average graduating class has just over 100 kids a year, if they're lucky. So to almost have, almost 1,000 tickets and, do as well as they did on stage, kudos to everybody involved. It was a labor of love. It was a lot of long nights, but we made it through, and it was one hell of a production. So shout out to everybody.
Love that. Shout out to the thespians of the world for that one. I have not made it official. However, I have put in my application to join a new betting market that hopefully I can compete in. Starting as of this recording, it happened already. But this past week was the first ever rendition of the WPL. It's the World Putting League. Mini golf professionally. Yeah, I know. We've been talking about this for a while and creating it ourselves. Well, unfortunately, someone overheard us and has created it. You can now bet on it. This tournament took place at the Hawaiian Rumble in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I will be putting in my application and joining the field when it comes up to the Northeast.
Well, our project is still going to happen no matter what.
Totally fine, but I will be in the professional rank and I will be winning money in events.
Just makes it better for the optics of our project. We'll have a pro.
That is true. Me and Ben Pirro playing doubles. Imagine that. PGA professional, Ben Pirro, and then this guy, Stephen McAvoy, the schlo.
WPL pro, Stephen McAvoy.
Although I would love
I
to
can confirm I have cameramen for our project.
I'm certainly not good enough, but like I would love to like get super yoked and just do like world long drive for fun. That'd be really fun.
Pretty wild.
That's gonna do it all for us here on the Get in the Hole podcast. KB, thank you for joining us, sitting in for Jake. We'll see you guys back next week for yet another incredible event. We have so much to talk about in the next coming weeks, all the way up until episode number 100 at where else but Augusta National. For KB, I'm Stephen McAvoy. We'll see you guys all next week. Enjoy.
Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!